Hello everyone, it is April. I'm here to share with you what I'm going to read in May. Now, it is my birthday month, so I've got to have some good ones. You know, the cup is back. Let's get into it. We are creeping closer to 15,000 subscribers on this channel. And I am doing a $150 Amazon gift card giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber, leave a comment on this video, and like this video. Stick around until the end of this video and I'm going to get into more detail about the giveaway itself and how you can win. That we're gonna pop back into the cup in a little bit, but I've got a couple of things to address first. The first is my Patreon book club pick for May. If you don't know, I have a little book club over on Patreon, and every month we read a book that's based on theme. This month's theme for May is a letter that changes everything. So they had to choose between Mexican Gothic and a keeper, and they chose A Keeper by Graham Norton, who, if you don't know, has a television gig. Like, he interviews celebrities and he's hilarious, but he also writes novels. And this novel takes place in Ireland, and we follow a woman who's going back home to her childhood home, her mom's house. Her mother has, I think, passed away, and she's going through all of her stuff, as you do after someone passes. And she stumbles upon a bunch of letters that reveal her mother's past. So apparently 40 years earlier, a woman has stumbled upon a cottage, doesn't know where she needs to go next, or what she's going to do. She's very lost. I'm assuming it's her mom. And these letters teach her about her mother. It sounds incredible. It sounds so good. So if you want to read this with us, you are welcome to. The link to my Patreon book club is in the description box below. And then Cindy is hosting the Asian Readathon, which I would like to take part of this year. I'm going to go through the prompts, and then I'm going to share with you 3 books that I might read for it, or read at least one of them for it. So the challenges are fairly straightforward. I'll link all of the information about the Asian Readathon if you want to participate, which I highly recommend you do. Okay, so I've got my little trusty laptop here. Challenges. Number 1, read any book written by an Asian author. Pretty straightforward. Number 2, read any book featuring an Asian protagonist. Number 3, read any book by an Asian author in your favorite genre. Unsurprisingly, I'm going with thrillers. Number 4, read any nonfiction book written by an Asian author. I just don't think that I'm going to actually do that one, unfortunately. Number 5, read any book written by an Asian author that's not US centric. So I think the books that I want to talk to you about and that I'm probably going to read from, I don't think any of them take place in the US. They're all thrillery in some way, shape, or form, I think. First is Out. This has been on my shelves for a while. And Out follows a group of women who work together. One of the women has killed her husband. He was abusive. I don't know how this killing came about, whether she was protecting herself, whether she was just like, I'm done with this guy. I'm done with him, and killed him. And her coworkers work with her to hide the body. They are her move a body friends. So I would love to read that. A book that I've just heard only wonderful things about is Please Look After Mom by Kyung-Suk Shin. This follows an older couple who are separated at the Seoul subway station. And 69-year-old Sun-yeon is separated from her husband, separated from her family. They cannot find her. And this follows her family trying to find her and also learning about her. And each of them are starting to wonder if they really knew their mother at all. Doesn't that sound so good? Next is the latest book by Yoo Young-young, who wrote The Good Son, which I loved. That was such a fun thriller. So he's come out with a new one called 7 Years of Darkness. This is about the murder of a young girl who is found dead in a lake. The police obviously are investigating, and 3 men in particular are really looked at more closely. 2 of those men are guards at a local dam. Now there's a huge showdown at a dam. A lot of people are killed. This guard is captured, put into prison, I believe, and we follow his son who is trying to reclaim his life because he's always just referred to essentially as this mass murderer's son, and he's just trying to get away from that and live a normal life. Well, one day he is given the invitation to find out what really happened to the girl, to all of the people involved that fatal day at the dam, and he dives in. And that sounds wonderful. I'm probably going to listen to that one on audio. So those are things I needed to talk to you about before we reached into the cup. I won't read all of those books, but I'll read some of them. So let's dive into the cup. We're going to pull out 4 prompts, and then I'm going to try and find books related to those prompts and read them in May. Okay, so let's shuffle first before I start pulling out prompts in case, I don't know, in case we get the same ones as April. That wouldn't be good. Okay, here we go. Into the cup. Animal on the cover. Let's see what I can find. Okay, I have 3 books that I could choose from for this prompt. 2 of them are the beginning of series. So I could read The Butterfly Garden by Dot Hutchison. There is no N in the midst of that word. This was kindly sent to me by Beth, which was so kind of her. And it sounds like so much fun in my kind of way, which is disturbing, makes you worry about my mental state. So this is about blood and murders. This follows the survivor of a serial killer. This guy is taking young women, he is killing them, he calls them his butterflies, and he buries their bodies surrounding his isolated mansion. And I think the FBI follow and find this garden burial site basically, and they are interviewing the survivor, and she in and of herself is a puzzle to be solved. And it sounds wonderful. It's the start of a series. I could read the whole series. I don't know. I could read that. Another start to a series that just sounds so good is The Silence of the White City. And I've kind of wanted to wait until spring, summer to read this because it just gives me those vibes. Oh, P.S. There's a butterfly moth thing. I feel like that's more of a moth, but I could be wrong. It's probably a butterfly on there. And then on here, there is a bumblebee, or at least it looks like a bumblebee. I'm not sure what species it is. This is about a madman that is holding Victoria hostage. He is killing all of these citizens and posing their bodies in very strange ways, like staging the bodies. So police are trying to find him. The murders are taking the same kind of tone as a series of murders that plagued the city 20 years ago. So are they connected? Are they not connected? We'll have to read it to find out. So I could read that. And then last but certainly not least is The Bass Rock. This was on my 5-star predictions video list, which I will link in the description box below if you haven't gone to see that yet. This is a book that I genuinely think I'm going to give 5 stars, and yet I'm terrified of it for no good reason. So I'm assuming, well, some of this is like, that looks like some sort of wolf creature. There's bass. Is that supposed to be a bass? I didn't know they had teeth like that. I don't know. Anyway, it's some sort of animal. This follows 3 women in 3 different time periods. We follow a woman who is fleeing for her life. She's being accused of being a witch. And then we follow someone, I think just after World War II, she's newly married, moving into a new home, trying to get to know the area, but things are strange and things are off in that area and maybe in her house. And then we follow a woman in present day who's gone to live in that woman's house and is going through her things. I don't know if they're related. I don't know. It sounds so good. So I could read that. Ooh, this is going to be a good reading month. I can tell already. All right, time to pick another prompt from the cup. Let's go here. What's this? Flowers on the cover. What is going on with animals on the cover, flowers on the cover? Okay, let's do this. Okay, extremely exciting. I've only given myself 2 options for this, but honestly, I could see myself reading them both because I've been wanting to read them so badly. Here is another one that was on my 5-star predictions list. This is Mexican Gothic. It needs no introduction. Everyone's read it but me. But here is a lovely bunch of flowers that she's holding. This follows a woman who receives a letter from her cousin who is recently married, has gone to live with her husband in his big, huge, fancy mansion. And then she gets a letter from this cousin that's like, everything is wrong. You need to come and get me. And we follow an unlikely heroine, essentially, because she's very much a socialite. Like, well, at least when I think of a socialite, I don't immediately think, oh, is going to spring into action and save everyone. Maybe that's something that I need to work through. But she goes, and indeed, there's something wrong with the house. There's something wrong with the inhabitants of the house. And yes, I want to read this desperately. Another book I want to read desperately is a book that I was doing a reading vlog, reading scary books, and I didn't end up getting to The Drowning Kind by Jennifer McMahon. Lovely bunch of roses here. I love this cover. This follows a woman who has a awkward relationship with her sister. Her sister has some mental health issues, and our main character struggles with that fact and struggles with her sister and dealing with her. Her sister calls her repeatedly one day and she doesn't pick up, and she thinks, oh, she's just going through one of her episodes, which is not kind. And then her sister is found drowned in their grandmother's pool. So her grandmother, I think, has this huge mansion with a pool in the backyard, and this isn't the first drowning there. There seems to have been a history of this in 1929. Someone else drowned there, and it sounds really creepy. It's also got a little bit of a, I don't know if magical realism is the right thing to say, maybe more paranormal vibes to it. So I could read this. Okay, so it's time to pick up another prompt from the cup. Okay, hopefully it's not a something on the cover. No, there is. We're only getting things on the cover this time. So this is a house on the cover. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's go and see what we can find. Oh dear, this was one of those situations where I just couldn't choose. So I've got 4. I've got 4 options for this prompt. That's too many, but oh well, here we are. What are you gonna do? The first is In the Dream House by Carmen Maria Machado. I've been wanting to read this. It's a memoir about a woman who is in a relationship that is abusive, and it's her examining the abuse that she experienced. She is in a same-sex relationship, and I think it examines how people view same-sex relationships as being perfect and exclusively happy when abuse can happen in any relationship. And it examines her experience being abused, And I'm assuming getting out of that relationship as well. And it does some interesting things and plays with structure. And I just think it sounds wonderful. So of course, House on the Cover, I could definitely read in the dream house, and it sounds amazing. Another book that I've been really wanting to read is The Nature of Fragile Things. This has been on a lot of, actually quite a few of these have been on recurring TBRs, but as you can see, I end up with so many books I want to read. It's easy for something to fall off. And unfortunately, this one has fallen off quite a bit. There are tons of houses on the cover of this one. The Nature of Fragile Things follows several women, but one woman in particular in San Francisco in the 1906. I was going to say 1920s. It happens in 1906. A massive earthquake rocks San Francisco, and we follow a woman who has very suddenly become a wife. Her new husband has a daughter who is mute, and they create this amazing bond. And so it follows those two characters as well as several women who have landed on her doorstep randomly. I really love Susan Meissner's work. I enjoy her storytelling. I enjoy the characters. You know, it pulls at your heartstrings, so I could read that. I could also read What Alice Forgot. Now you're like, April, where is the house on the cover? And it's there, I promise. See? Teeny tiny. But I've been wanting to read this. This follows Alice, who falls at the gym one day, wakes up, looks at herself in the mirror, and is like, what? Because she wakes up and she's forgotten the last 10 years of her life. In her mind, she is a happily married person who I think has a young child. And in reality, she is in the midst of a divorce, has several children, and she's trying to sort through what happened in those 10 years that would dramatically change her life in such a way. And nobody will talk to her, apparently. Like, her ex-husband won't talk to her. There's several people that she's not talking to, and she's really confused. And it sounds so good. And I haven't read a Liane Moriarty in quite some time, so I could read that. And then last but not least is another 5-star prediction, a book. From that video, I mean, is there a point in going to watch that video at this point? Because I've got a lot of them in the stack, which I'm proud of. So this is The Lying Room by Nikki French. You can see there's a little image of a house through there, through the windows, curtains. This follows a woman who's having an affair, and her partner have, I think, rented an apartment or something where they have their meetings. And when she gets there one day, he's dead. And instead of like calling the police, she essentially covers up his death. And I'm assuming regrets that. I think she, in her mind, is like, well, no one can know that I'm having an affair, so he's got to go. It just doesn't seem smart. Like, it doesn't seem smart. But Nikki French, this husband-wife duo, are so good that I know I'm in good hands, and they'll have fun with this and do something really good with this. So I could read The Lying Room. Okay, we are on our last prompt. This is the last one, guys. It's probably going to be another something on the cover because that's just our luck. No, it's not. New author. So I have to go to my shelves and look for a book written by someone I've never read before. I've never read this author before. New to me author. Let's go. Okay, I've got 3 more books by 3 authors I've never read before. One of them, I think, is a debut author. The first is a so well-respected author, and it really is a shame that I have not read her, considering so many things. Considering I'm like 40. Considering I'm turning 40 in the month of May. Considering that I was an English major. How have I not read Toni Morrison before? So this is The Bluest Eye. I believe this was her debut. And this follows a young Black girl who has witnessed in society that the concept of beauty and what people think of when they think of beauty and what she thinks of when she thinks of beauty is, blonde-haired, blue-eyed women, essentially, which is such a shame. That is what she dreams of. She prays every single day to have blonde hair and blue eyes. And it's going to break my heart. I would love to read this. I would love to read this. So I could read The Bluest Eye. Now, the person who turned me on to this book, Lauren from Lauren and the Books, it sounds like she's read other things by Marianne Keyes and hasn't liked those things, but she loved this one. And so I'd really love to pick it up. So Grown Ups is about a family, and we follow the family members as well as their partners and significant others. Well, one of the brothers' wives hits her head and is unable to lie. Like, that is the side effect to hitting her head. She just says everything that she's thinking of all the time. And all of these secrets that she knows about starts to come out during these family visits and meetings. And we see them together, working through these secrets as she's spewing them out. And then apparently we also go backwards in time and see the secrets being created, which sounds like a lot of fun. It would be a lovely light thing to read at this time of year. Kind of gives me summery vibes. So I'd love to read Grown Ups. And then last but not least is a, haunted house story. This is The Upstairs Room by Kate Murray Brown. Look at this, Joanna Cannon, who I love. An incredible read, clever, chilling, I couldn't put it down. Yes. So this follows a family who have moved into a home. They have pinched and saved, like they have done everything they could to buy this house. And unfortunately, there's something wrong with the house. The couple, their daughters feel very unsettled. They feel like something is off with the house. And I think their lodger also feels that way. And there's all sorts of things written on the upstairs room's walls. It sounds creepy. It sounds great. I'm in the mood for this kind of thing in a major way, so I could read that. That's it. Now I'm done, because the stack is so enormous. It's gonna be fine. I'm gonna have a wonderful, wonderful reading month. I hope that you do too. Let me know in the comments below what you are planning to read in the month of May. I hope you read something amazing. And also, have you read any of these books that I mentioned? And what did you think of them? Fingers crossed you loved them all. You loved them all. I will talk with you soon. All right, bye, with guys. 15,000 subscribers just around the corner, this is your chance to win a $150 Amazon gift card. It's in Canadian because I am Canadian. And I hope that one of you will be able to buy all sorts of lovely books from your wish list with it. Now, in order to win, you need to first be subscribed to this channel, like this video, and also leave a comment in the comments below. After we hit 15,000 subscribers, I am going to pick a random video, randomize the comments, and pick a winner. So the more videos you watch, the more comments you leave, the more chances that you are going to have to win. Good luck to all of my bookish friends out there.